All
So anyway,
right.
so as we were saying, like for me, right, the
Right.
situation with a lot of Africans getting denied visas and all that is I attribute it to Africans themselves not giving themselves privilege in their own home
Yeah.
continent. So if we're giving each other privilege of being able to visit each other's countries, da, da, da,
Yeah.
without all that nonsense, then people outside would start respecting us and treating us as such, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like a new person. It's like when like if someone meeting you and seeing you're wearing shabby clothes and you're dirty and da da da, they actually don't want to recommend you wearing better clothes because they think actually it may be offensive. They think you're actually
Yeah.
fine with it. It's like a psychological thing. Everyone knows that, even in relationships and so on, right? So I think that's what most people are experiencing, where the countries don't respect us themselves. Like even in our home countries, the immigration guys grill you even more than the consular on getting a visa. Like they bully you. Like I can actually say,
Yeah.
like immigration
Yes.
people bully you more. Like your own immigration people bully you more than the
Yes.
consular the country you're going to. So I'm like, what does that reflect? Like it's a bad reflection, right? Bad reflection.
Yeah.
So for me,
I remember I know I was thinking about saying, okay, let's go to Morocco for the upcoming AFCON that's coming
yes,
up. It's happening in Morocco.
yes,
And I was like, okay, I asked my travel person. And
yeah.
if you see the list of things she was giving me to
That you
apply,
have to
I'm
have.
like, am I going to Europe? Why Morocco,
And that's another
Morocco
African
is in
country.
Africa.
It's another African country, man. It's for me, I think it's unfair. But the thing is, for me, it's about access, right? I remember, I don't know which year. How old was I when I realized this? Like the best gift you can ever give your kids is a passport,
It's a second
right?
passport. Yeah.
Yes, the proper, serious citizenship. If you don't give your kid, because that's access, right? So based on your
Mm-hmm.
citizenship, you can either roam around the world without ever knowing what a visa is, which
Mm-hmm.
therefore unlocks a lot of opportunities. You can work anywhere in the you can work easily anywhere in the world. You can do content. You can do a lot of things if you can travel around the world, right? So
Yeah.
that's access. Access is more important than static resources like money or any of these resources, right? So if you can give a kid access, great. But question for us who were born without that much access and we have to crawl our way to the top and absorb all those insults and all that stuff. And people are told, don't cry about it, grow
Yeah.
up,
Be a
go to a pair
man.
of pants, be a man or a woman, and da da da. The world doesn't owe you anything. Now, does that struggle, right,
Mm.
build, does that struggle and the whole struggling life and hustle and da 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 and grind, does that build character or trauma?
In my Okay, Alex wants to go.
Listen, you go
You can
first.
start, yeah.
No, 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 no. I will speak, but Ewa, you can go first.
Okay. So, in my opinion, I think it builds both. It builds both, in my opinion, because of what they are telling you, your mind is already like, you need to make it. You cannot be poor. You
Yeah.
don't want your There's something we shout in Nigeria when they bring power. We shout up Nepa. My
What is that?
grandfather shouted up Nepa. My father shouted up Nepa. I
Yeah,
am shouting up Nepa.
yeah,
so
yeah,
so you tell yourself, I don't want my kids to shout up Nepa. It's a popular saying here.
yeah,
So I don't want my kids to shout up
yeah,
Nepa. I have to give my kids this because I don't want them to be like. So it guides you towards the part of building character. So now you have to think of where you're coming from. There is a popular saying in my place, remember where you're coming from. So
yeah,
you have to think of where you're coming from. And it's not just what they taught you in the house. You have to also teach yourself outside.
yeah,
So you you are building
yeah,
character, but at the same time, there is trauma following you along with it. Like it's just walking behind you. Because there are some if you think that if you just rest a bit, you become poor.
yeah, Yes,
That's the
yes,
next thing that comes to your head.
yeah,
Like you think that that was how that day somebody went to just go and he just slept. That Bible verse, a little sleep, a little slumber.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's either you are killing yourself or you're not even going to reach that level of richness that you think you're going to reach.
yeah,
So what I feel is it definitely builds character, good character in quotes. But at the same time, trauma is following you alongside with it. Because now you can't rest. You are thinking, you want to build a life, you want to give your kids a second passport, you are
yeah,
overthinking things. Now you can't probably get married until when you have all the money. Then you will now use old age to be taking care of your kids.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Alex,
Yeah,
I need to
and
hear
I
from you.
agree.
No, no,
For me,
you people should
actually,
talk. I'm listening first.
yeah, for me, I agree with Ayo, right? I agree with 100%, which is you get both. I have a controversial take. I
Yeah.
don't think trauma is a bad thing. Why are we saying trauma is a bad thing? I don't think trauma is a bad thing. Hear me out. So, in physics, I'll bring you guys the physics example.
Okay.
You know, anything in motion experiences friction. I hope the physicists in the room don't destroy me. If I'm butchering it, forgive me. That was high school physics.
Okay.
Anything in motion is experiencing friction, right? If you
Yes.
move unless you're not moving, if you're sitting, then there's no friction. Then everything is good, right? But if you start moving
Yeah.
like this, you have friction against the surface on which you're moving on, right? If you're moving in water, you have friction still. If you're moving in air, you still have friction in air, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So to me, if you say there's no trauma, it means you didn't move. Like maybe if you, I don't know, like I don't now explain to me someone who is born and grows up to like 8 years old without movement. I don't care how lazy you are, you're going to have any movement. At least you have movement of time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's movement, you're going to have friction. So because your life is linearly like it's moving, presumably you're going to experience trauma, and that is fine. That's not a bad thing. Like our generation, we're getting to a point we think we want to have kids and protect them from all sorts of trauma. It's impossible, and it's not. You don't want your kids to be protected from trauma. You want them to have trauma, and hopefully that helps them become better people, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, hear me out. In business, when I was a kid, before business, was a kid, and I used to say I'll get a scholarship, full scholarship to go to university. Everyone laughed at me.
Mm.
Every single person, my uncles, my relatives, my cousins, neighbors, my class, everyone laughed at me. It's impossible. There's no full scholarship for undergraduates. At the full ride, like an absolute full ride, you get out of your mom's house and your plane ticket is paid for, everything is paid for. That's in your dreams, right? So everyone laughed at me. They actually thought I was completely delusional. I'm losing my mind. This kid is talented, but he's now lost his mind thinking about the full scholarship that doesn't exist, right? And they were
Mm-hmm.
right. I think they were actually all right. There was no actual full scholarships. Even all the universities I got admission into, I got the maximum scholarship they were giving, which like presidential scholarships and so forth, and they would pay like 50% or 80% of your
80%,
investment,
yeah.
up to
Tuition.
90% they would even pay. But the 10% was too big. My mom at the time was earning $350 a month. How are you going to pay whatever 10%? How are you going to pay an Emirates flight of $1,500 at the time, pay for mattresses and whatever in a dorm, and like it's just impossible, right? So
Yeah.
even 10%, so I couldn't get in any university. But so I was traumatized. Like it was a bad situation. People were laughing at me. I was not in school. I was out in the streets. I was hustling. It took me 5 years from when I finished high school to when I got into university. Five years. I was in the streets, hustling and bustling, doing motion, just moving, and I was applying left, right, and center to every single university you can think of. every single scholarship program you can think of. I went door to door. I went to like rich people. You know those rich people who do Rotary Club, Lions Club, and all that.
Yes. Yeah.
I went door to door. Like I attacked them in their weekly meetings. I went and begged. I came with my files. These are my files. I'm very smart. You can invest in me. I promise you I will come out to the other side. Like I was like a cartoon, right? For 5 years. And guess what? some some corporate sponsorship program was created out of the blue, only existed in that 1 year when I got it, and after that it collapsed.
It
It just
closed.
closed. So now, was I traumatized being in the streets and my friends who did high school, finish college, start their jobs, get married, and all that? Yes, I was traumatized. It was bad. It was a bad experience. Extremely depressed. I don't even have a single picture of mine in those years. But did I get what I want? Yes. Did I get what I want against all naysayers in the whole world? Yes. Did that make the sweetness of victory, even better? Yes. Did it make my life more fulfilling? Yes. Did it make me believe and get all this energy that I end up building all these businesses from? Yes. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you take it from my mom's perspective, my mom was very sad. My kid is smart, is ambitious. The entire world is against him and crushing his dreams, grinding his dreams. So, as a parent, it's crushing, right? You're the parent, you feel powerless. But I'm like, 10 years later, the kid now is like more fulfilled because of that trauma. You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so my point is, like, struggles build character because of trauma,
Mm.
because you've overcome your trauma. And yes, you'll have a chip. People are like, oh, you haven't healed. If you still have like a chip, yeah, a chip is good. Like your scars are not going to go away. Even in the Bible, Jesus still had. When Jesus was resurrected, assuming people believe in the Bible, when Jesus was resurrected, he still had his nail, whatever, like the holes where the nails were in and all that. So what I'm trying to say is, character is because you were traumatized. That's why you have this great character that we see on the other side. So struggles are not a bad thing entirely.
So, from my end, I'll say it goes both way. When I mean it goes both way, yeah, trauma sometimes can build character, but I'll
Yes.
say depending on the individual, sometimes it can be
Break
Break
really
the
some.
really
person.
traumatizing. Like it can be extremely traumatizing. Like I give you an example, right? If you have been groomed in such a way, you get that you had to overwork yourself to earn a living. You have to overwork. You have to like, yes, I know everybody must work, everybody must suffer, but
Yes.
maybe to the extreme, you get.
Yes.
You end up
Yes.
seeing that you grow old or you grow up and you're like, for you to spend your own money becomes the problem because
Mm.
you have money, but you cannot spend it because you're like, you know what I did to make this money. And at the end of the day, like indirectly, that trauma kind of makes
Builds
who you
up.
already become. You get
Yeah.
it's not as if it's controlling your life. And
Yeah.
indirectly, people are there that no, like this is trauma, but you're like, no, I worked for it. And I'm like, I'm not saying you don't work for it, but
Yeah.
it has gradually what taken over who you are. So
Yes.
it's like, for me, it goes both
Yes.
ways. You get
Yes.
to some
So
people
just
it's
me.
good. If you look at it, why is not I'm not trying to bash ourselves today, but why is Africa the way it is today?
Mm.
Because most people, like I give you an example, most people think for our basic needs that the government has failed to provide, for those in other regions, in other continents, it's a normal thing. Like, but for us here, it's as if they have traumatized us with poverty, with hard work, with everything that sometimes they'll tell you must work your ass out to,
Yeah.
and indirectly, for most families, for most people, it has become part and parcel of them. Like they just feel no, if you cannot work and die, you can never make it.
I think I think the government people don't want you to be saying this piece of the
Yes.
equation.
You guys will be like, if you cannot work and die, you can. So sometimes I feel, sometimes struggle, yes, it builds character, but in some cases, it actually leads to Trauma.
Alex, you have the MTN or whoever is providing your telecom is against.
This is part of the character building that we are talking
Yeah, this is
about.
what we got the building. They're against the vision of you delivering the message.
Oh my god.
You see?
And you know the reason why we have this issue, because
Yes.
rain has been falling for some days.
Uh
So
okay.
imagine with the rain, you're struggling with internet, and it's not just one network; it's everywhere. So
It's everywhere.
yeah, but let me also
Question,
give
question.
an um
So question, before I get to Alex's point.
yeah.
Is Starlink not back? Like, does Starlink not work? Like in where you guys are in? Like, is Starlink not working?
Okay, so Starlink works, but in Lagos, you only
Yeah.
have to acquire the Starlink business for Lagos alone. They're no more selling like the personal one
The
for,
personal one, okay. But
yes.
does it
So
actually
it's
does it deliver? Does it deliver without any hiccups at all? Like zero hiccups?
when rain falls, it does not deliver.
Ah,
Once there
so
is
it's the
rain,
same thing. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't deliver. When there is the upload speed is bad. So
Yeah. So
compared
that's
to
bad regardless of which provider is being used, right?
yes,
That
so
makes
it's still it's still the character we are building.
That's the character you guys have here. Because like the problem with internet, right?
Yeah,
It makes you think that's normal and that's the pace of production. Only to find
yeah,
out if you move to a different country,
it's
when you
so
have like
easy.
access to fast internet, you find out the world has been stopping you from actually exploding, right? You've been held
Exactly.
back. So
And
no, we need to
sometimes
find a solution. We need to find a solution.
no, we are
I think one of
definitely going to find we are definitely going
yeah,
to find a solution.
we need to find a solution, and I think we need to revisit that idea of you guys going to a different country. Like we ship different country, do six
Yeah.
months or whatever there, and then
Yeah.
back and forth,
We need to
or even do
revisit the
like
idea.
permanent relocation. Yeah, or like permanent relocation altogether, right? I think we need
Yeah,
to revisit that idea because this
yeah.
is getting ridiculous.
We had a conversation about global talents last year.
Yes,
So by the time I did my calculation as a Nigerian that wants to
yes,
apply for global talents for four
yeah,
years,
Just say
that's
just say in your
exceptional
country.
talents. Because of
yes.
course,
That's UK, right?
Ruwazi, yes, UK, Ruwazi is there.
Yes,
Like Ruwazi is like
yes,
settled. Ruwazi is one of the best
yes,
places. All of that, they will
yes.
definitely give me like exceptional talent. You know
Nice.
how much that is? It's
How
seven
much?
thousand pounds.
Jesus. But my question, 7,000
Mhm.
pounds. It's how long does it take to process?
So you have to apply for it first, then you get it, then you pay the money. So it's not like I think the application maybe
Okay,
about
okay,
£500. Then when you get
yeah,
it, you now pay for the visa.
yeah. Now pay the 7K, and
I don't think,
it allows you to stay there for 4 years, right?
yes, that's for exceptional talent.
So for time,
And you're
and you
on
work.
pathway to get citizenship or permanent
Okay,
residence.
nice.
So,
That's even better. That's even better.
yeah, yeah.
And after 7 years, is it auto renewal every 7 years?
No,
I mean,
no,
every 5 years, 4 years.
no, 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 no. So by if you were doing the 3 years one, 3 years, of course you have to maybe you'd have gotten somewhere that is sponsoring your visa, so you don't necessarily have to. But 4 years, you should get your PR by 4 years. That's
What's
permanent
the PR? Oh,
residence.
permanent residence. Permanent residence.
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay,
you
okay.
should be able to get that within 4 years. So you just transition
But then
basically.
comes the okay, fair. But then comes the question of cost of living. How much do you need per month to live a normal, comfortable life in the UK?
So that is why. So I've been thinking of actually visiting the UK before I
Yeah.
formally start
Okay,
applying
Alex is
for
back.
global talents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, 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 okay. Alex
character
is back. Alex
building.
is back. Alex, we're talking about the struggles that we're being subjected to, and we're exploring like moving to a different country. Are you telling me about the UK Global Talent Program that's like 4 years?
No, but like, we've been talking about it. We've actually spoken about it for quite some
So
time,
okay,
but
so 7K, right? 4 years.
Yeah.
7K is paid once you get it.
Yeah.
What is the minimum
Yes,
salary
7K.
for a comfortable life in the UK
So if I'm moving to the
for
UK, I
young
would
living?
definitely not want to move to London. I'll move to somewhere obviously
Yes, that makes
very
sense.
cheaper.
Okay.
Because of course I work with Rowazi, I can work remotely. I don't need to stay in
Yes.
London.
Yes. That's
So
true. That's true.
it's so if maybe I don't, so the thing is I said I was going to go to the UK this year. I'll just do like a visit visa and see,
Yes.
like
See
I'll
what's
visit
up.
my friends in
Yes.
Birmingham, visit my
Yeah.
friends in London, visit my friends in
Yes.
Dundee, that's Scotland. Like just go around and see, okay, which
Yeah.
place makes sense before I can now
Yeah.
officially say, okay, I want to start applying for um
Okay.
global
Do you need a
talents.
stat
I
on
think
like
that's the conversation that
how
Alex and
much?
I. So if you
Yeah,
want
because if
to,
you
so when I spoke with my travel agent, she was charging me about I think ₦1 million for like visa processing,
I mean now
everything.
it's like
That's
$1,000, right? I
no, it's not. It's
suppose.
not. It's like maybe $750.
Okay.
So and there is still flight tickets. Now those flight
Oh
tickets they
boy.
just make me
But
laugh.
that's like to fix the but the flight tickets from Lagos to London is not that much, right?
It's
Because
close
you guys
to
have too many
it's close
frequent
to a
flights.
thousand five hundred dollars. I think it's $1,500. Yeah.
But it's one direct flight, right?
It depends on who you're flying with. If you're flying with Ethiopia, you stop over.
No,
Only if
where are
you're
you
going
doing?
with
Where are you
British
going to
Airways.
Ethiopia? Lagos is right here. Just go one direct flight. It should be like
if
6 hours. Like why would you go all
you're
the way to Ethiopia? What are you doing in Ethiopia? That doesn't make any sense.
is when you
I'm
have
going to
money for
Ethiopia.
direct flights, you do.
Yeah, because the direct flight is like 6 hours. Maybe like 6 hour flights to
Yeah, it's
London,
six
right?
hours, 6 7 hours.
Yes, like one flight.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I
Yeah.
think okay, Alex. Back to your point. Alex, you're making a point, right? You're making a
Hmm.
point that people who overcome trauma and therefore that builds character and so on. That's one group. But you also have others who absolutely suffocate under their own trauma, right? And
Hmm.
trauma actually
Hmm.
becomes them. Like it actually
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
over and it becomes how they actually live their lives, right? And so forth.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're now talking about things we take for granted if you're in a developed country and all the services are being done for, while as people who are living in developing countries, they are made to think as if those things aren't supposed to be provided for free. So
Exactly.
there's actually something happening in the brain that makes you think that you're not entitled to certain services and makes you think you're entitled if you claim them. It's like, why are you complaining? You should be grateful. That mentality where, okay, say, go on there, build on that, build on that.
So now, if you look at, I'm not good at history, but if you look at when it comes to Africa, like general, no matter how developed, no matter how anything, most African countries are suffering from one particular thing or the other. That's why if I will know it's every country has their own peak point, but it's as if when it comes to Africa, it's unique. And it's unique in the sense that if you look deep, you get to see that we're all suffering from the same thing,
bad
which is what
bad
leaders
governance.
don't really want. Leaders want to just use. I don't even want to use bad governance, but leaders just want to kind of keep impoverishing the people. You get, which indirectly still keep adding this mentality of um indirectly they're still traumatizing our yet unborn future. Like even the children that are not born, like they're
Yes.
already traumatized in advance because they know that this is not supposed to be so. Things are not supposed to be this way. They are just normal, regular things. These are
Yeah.
basic things. No, you have set of people get the job done. You won't want to get the job done. You are just after yourself, your
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
your generation.
And
At the end of the day, all those things you're doing, your next 50 years generation, they cannot still.
the guys are
finish
like,
the so-called
you're not going to
thing
deliver
you
this
are hoarding
message.
for
Yeah, I'm not
them.
going to
Some of
speak
them
to
will even
them.
come and even
Can you guys
misuse
be in the
it.
same room?
You get what I mean?
Be
And
in the
they
same
come to
room. I
the
think
world
that
and they
that
feel, oh,
would
it's
fix
our right, this
Yes.
is how it's meant to be. When in
that would fix
reality,
the
Yes.
issue.
they
If
still
you
keep
guys if you
doing that
guys
Hold
be in the
same
on.
same
kind of
room,
pattern of what?
that would solve
Traumatizing
it.
people, making people
Yeah,
Let me
overwork. Like, I
take
give you an
just get him
example.
some.
to join
I know, AY, if you notice this
join in the
guy,
same room. That would
this
solve it.
skit maker, Tran,
let
very popular in Nigeria, that went to this streamers
me
university
text.
That's
in the
funny. That's
US,
Alex
funny.
is
something like that.
angry
That's the leaders.
because
The
it's
leaders
all
are like,
Can you guys hear me?
and I actually don't think it's like a region specific thing. I think it's just like developing versus developed, right? You
yeah.
know, advanced economies, emerging economies, kind of like separation, right? You have like emerging and actually fast, like actually making progress, and then you have emerging, like not emerging. You have like the ones that are just behind and chilling, right? I think that's what the separation is. I don't think the separation um is like couch. Yeah, I don't think the separation is like region wise, right? Which I think I want Alex. I want to hear Alex's take on that.
Oh yeah, come here, come here. Come here. Come and bring. Take your
Yeah,
chair. Just
just squeeze yourself in Ayo's camera.
no, no, no.
I think
Just come here.
you can sit on that side, right?
No, just come here.
Just this.
On that side.
Okay. He wants to get his laptop. So
There's
no,
no need
there's a
for his
chair in
laptop
front of
though.
me.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
there's a chair in front of me, so I'll just turn it like this way. Oh, yeah.
okay. Can you
Because
put that
I'm
angle?
in a
Because I think you can
conference room.
sit. Yeah, I
Yes,
think you
he
can
can sit
sit.
behind,
Yes, you can sit
and I'm
exactly,
using my
exactly,
tripod.
exactly.
So
So and you can move the tripod a bit back. Yeah, makes sense. Makes
yes,
sense.
yeah. So this
That
is what
makes.
the network has pushed up. We are
That's building
character
character
building
right there. That's like building character in real time, right?
in real
Oh man, I'm
time.
telling you,
It's so sad,
it's
and
building.
it's so. Let me give this example based on what based on what Alex was talking about. So we have local government elections this weekend in
Yes.
Lagos, and there's a road that leads to my house. That
Yeah.
road has spoiled different cars' tires, their tire, their hub, their shock absorber. Now, there are like three parts of that road that is bad.
Yeah.
No, there are like four parts. They repaired only two of the parts. They just repaired it. And it's not like the repairing is really good. They just
Yeah.
fixed and filled it.
Yeah.
And they left the remaining two. Why?
Yeah.
Because they were campaigning for elections.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
So
Of
that,
course. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that we would
Yeah.
just say,
Yeah.
they've done this road though.
Yeah. When they did, but like I have a defense. I can play the other side.
Devil's, yeah.
Devil's advocate. I can play the other side and say, people in developing countries ask government do this, government do that, government is not doing anything. What are you actually doing? And
Okay,
have you
so
done all your contributions as a citizen? Is every citizen paying taxes? Because if you look at most of these countries, oh, let's say if there's a website online, they publish this thing showing like the size of shadow economies in different countries. Most of the so-called poor countries have a shadow economy as big as the normal economy. So it
yeah.
means all that money, who knows what it's doing and where it's being spent on and so forth. If
Mm-hmm.
you have, if you're like, if as a citizen, if you're a citizen base, like a tax base, if citizens are busy trying to avoid taxes, now the explanation is, well, I'm not going to pay taxes because when I pay taxes, they're not going to develop anything. So I might as well eat my own taxes, right? Okay. And then the government guys are like, well, I don't have enough money to, implement on anything, so there's no point. Alex, I think you should
Yeah.
join. You should join.
No, he has changed his location.
Okay,
I
okay. Hopefully that works.
think
think
So
it's
where
Alex,
he
Alex,
is
really
I'm
is where
making
the
this
issue.
I'm making a counter angle as a government person, right? Which is, as citizens, like actually, like development and growth and all that isn't the job of the government. That's actually the job of everyone. Like everyone has to, make their lives 100% max, right? If you're complaining about let's say the road out of your house, have you
Mm-hmm.
paved when you build that house? Those guys who build houses, massive gates, everything paved inside. Have you paved all the way into the pathway leading up to your house? No.
Okay.
So you're just as selfish as everyone else. And guess what? Who is being elected into office? It's just you. Normal people. Like people complain about,
Mm-hmm.
government, bad people are being elected. Bad people are being elected by who? Normal people, a group of people from everyone, from the public, is the one that's ending up in like civil service or in public office, right?
Yeah.
So that person, for your information, is a reflection of you. Now, if you
Okay.
say, no, that person is not a reflection of me, I completely denounce them, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then I need to see that you're leading a life that is in complete opposite of what the general reflection of how the country is being operated. You're never late, you always over deliver, you do more with less, and you always take
Mm-hmm.
initiative. Do you? So people are going, oh, the government's taking, taking times, never deliver on the promise. Well, do you deliver in your own day-to-day life?
Okay. Okay. So
Okay, the
Joseph.
government spends money, they, eat the money and they don't know. Well, do you do more with less? Do you have savings in your account
Okay.
personally?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Joseph. Okay,
Uh-huh.
Joseph. Let me now come and bust your head. Now, do you
Uh-huh.
know that in Nigeria, as a
Yes.
private citizen,
Yeah.
if you come outside and say you want to repair the road that leads to your house,
Yes.
the government can sue you.
Fine.
You
No problem.
they, you cannot touch it. We already,
No problem.
as it stands,
Yeah.
I provide electricity for myself and I'm paying
Then.
tax too. I
Yes.
provide electricity, I provide water, I
Yes.
provide security.
Yes.
And these are things that the government is so. I even provide healthcare.
Yes. For yourself.
So
Yeah, yeah,
it's not
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not doing my own part, my own side of things. I am.
Okay.
So
Justifiably. Okay, now.
what are they doing for us that we are doing our own side of things?
Okay. Fair argument. Okay. My other explanation. So if you have 200 million people, you guys have like 250 million people. That's some ridiculous number,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
How many of the, because people in office aren't putting themselves there, and people are, they're stealing votes. No, they're being voted in by like a large majority that you don't see, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, if you're in a certain group, you'll be like, oh, people are voting them in are dumb or whatever. It's just whoever ends up winning the vote is catering to the likes and whatever of the person who voted them in. Whether they understand or not or whatever, that's this is much you can do about it. Now, what can you do, right, as a private citizen? For me, I contemplated these things long enough to reach a conclusion that my
Mm.
life, let's say it's 100 years, is not long enough to worry about societal things. My life, I need things
I
that are
Agree.
agree.
in
I
my
agree with
I
you.
control.
agree.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
Agree. I
So
totally
I
agree.
need to fix my own life, right? So I'll get myself a generator. I'll get myself my own water supply. I'll fix my own insurance. If all these things don't reach to standard, I'll just get on a plane and leave and relocate to whatever. I don't have loyalty to a country, a location, a group of people. No. So that's how you over optimize for yourself. If enough people do that, then you see systemic change. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, like you only like for me, I'm like, well, if someone tells me, I'm broke, I'm like, well, you actually don't feel broke. If you really, really, really felt broke, you'd have moved. It's like back to a movement thing. Like if I haven't seen movement, it means there isn't pain. If there's pain, you'd move. You know what I'm saying? And movement is, this movement of I get myself a generator, I get myself this, I get myself this. And people will say, well, I can't afford a generator. Ayo is rich. For me, I can't afford my own generator Starlink. So, this is unfair. And that conversation is like people up there talking, to each other about affording generators. My explanation is, well, that's not entirely true. I remember for us, there was a time we were broke. Like my mom and us, the kids were like absolutely broke. And we refused to eat ugali. There's something called ugali, right? Ugali is like
I know
maize
you hate
flour.
ugali. You hate it.
I hate ugali to the core. So this ugali is like maize flour. You put it in hot water. You stir it. It becomes porridge.
Yeah,
You keep adding flour until it becomes a stiff thing. Ugly, tasteless thing. And then eat it with whatever beans or whatever. You know, when you're
fish.
broke, it's like beans or whatever. That's the only money we had, and everyone believes that when you're broke, you eat ugali because that's the cheapest food. It's not true. We did the math. We're like, we refuse to eat ugali. We will starve. We'll have fewer meals, and would rather buy tea and buns, drink tea and cassava that instead of eating ugali. Like I will eat anything than eat ugali. That's when we stopped eating ugali. I've never ate ugali since. And it wasn't a matter of money. It was a matter of I hate ugali so much. I will starve myself. I will eat anything else. I will eat anything else like cassava, sweet potato, whatever. And I'll eat even things that don't fill you up, right? Just to prove that I don't want to eat ugali. And guess what happened? We realized that ugali was actually more expensive than a lot of other options. We started having other options, and I've never tasted ugali ever since. So people say, "Oh, when you're poor, you eat this. This is poor person's food." No, you keep choosing the same thing that you already hate. If you stop choosing it, the world is not gonna like do this and force you to eat it, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. I remember I remember the time I was so angry, right, and squeezed. I applied to a job offer of teaching English in Cambodia. $50 at the time. I was broke to the tea, but housing is provided for, lunch, breakfast and lunch are provided for at the school. I accepted. And I started. I was going to go teach English in Cambodia. I was like, I will go to Cambodia than stay in the house. Like I'll do it. I'll be an English teacher in Cambodia than stay in the house, right? So it's like, how much do you hate your current position? And so then, the explanation is like, how much trauma are you willing to experience
To
to make
experience.
movement? To make movement.
Yeah.
Because based on your starting position and the surface you're on,
Yeah.
if you're in America, the surface is air, so the friction is like very beautiful. But if you're in if you're in, I don't know, Guatemala, right? The surface you're on is extremely rough, and the position you're starting off is so far from where you're trying to go. So the only question is, how much trauma are you willing to experience to get to where you want to get to? It's an inevitable
Mm.
like path.
We are all working through it.
And Alex, back to your original point that the government have been stopping you from saying. We're shaped by trauma. Trauma shapes, like if you experience this, like the same, if you live under same intense trauma for too long, it makes you who you are, right?
Mm.
So you get like, I have trust issues, right? So you become crippled, like completely crippled, right? But and here's the problem.
Just like
Here's a,
AY.
and here's another problem, right? I'll add to your point.
AY.
you
Joseph.
you become crippled
Joseph.
by the trauma. But here's the thing. Wait. So you become crippled by the trauma, but you like your new crippled look because it got you to where you are. So you actually like it, which is what Alex you were saying, that people start embracing their traumatized identities. Because like,
Mm.
if I have trust issues, for me, I have trust issues, right? But the trust issues, my level of smelling bullshit is so high. Like nothing can just pass. I can gauge if someone is a good person or a bad person like that. So I like it. I like
Yeah.
this superpower. I love it. But if I talk to people who are married, they're like, bro, you're lost. You need help. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That
You know
is
what I'm saying?
that is why Alex is calling my name,
But
because I have trust issues. Oh my god.
my God. And everybody around
Yeah.
that, if you're not careful, will pay for it. I'm like,
No, no, I'm like, you can't be showing me bullshit and I'll be looking
Exactly.
at you. That
Exactly.
that is why I always try to fix my own bullshit so that I don't
Yes.
mess up. So
Yes.
you can't say you are showing me bullshit and you are having audacity without bullshit. No, no,
You
just
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yes, yes,
just
yes,
leave. Just
yes.
leave.
And
Like
and I like
it's
it.
yes, that's the way it should be.
But Alex, tell us your counter because you're completely against this trauma thing. Trauma.
Yeah, okay. My point is because I know even for me, sometimes I know, yes, not a lot of people
Yeah.
I have trust issues. But sometimes I still want to give myself grace and still say, yes, I know because of past experiences, because of things I've been through. And I'm like, no, this person is a different being, or this thing happened in a different way. There's some things you don't have control. I will not use the word
Yes.
overlook,
Yes.
you get, but just I'm just doing this because I feel I know you are a different person because you've been through things, and maybe the things you've been through are kind of shaping
Yes.
the way you're acting. So that's why you are acting the way you are to me. I'm like, I don't want to be there because the truth is, whether we like it or not, we will continue to
Yes.
experience trauma in one way
Yes.
or the
Yes.
other, directly
Yes.
or
Yeah.
indirectly. It will
True.
come. If you get married today,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
children will
Exactly.
traumatize you. In short, your first child will traumatize you. That
That's
when the
true.
second child
Yes.
comes, you start looking at it like that's when you hear parents tell you, don't disturb me the way your brother or your sister disturb me. Oh, I will deal with you.
That's true.
And the third one will come. The father will say, imagine your brother and your sister, they gave me headache. You don't give me headache. I'm like,
That's true. That's true. That's
why?
true.
It will come
Yes.
in different forms. I'm like, please, sometimes you just have to try because sometimes I tell myself, okay, it's even possible maybe to overcome this trauma. Someone goes for therapy. But the other time when I look at it, I'm like, what's actually the meaning
Yeah.
of even going for therapy? Because even the person you are going to help you, I'm sure that person
Yes.
too has her own trauma in one way or the other. That if you're not careful, she will use her own
Yes.
trauma to.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Sometimes I just tell myself, sometimes let's just take a step back. It's hard.
Yeah.
I will not lie just
Yeah.
it's hard. Because sometimes you tell yourself, no, okay, I don't want to do this thing this right. And one thing is telling you, you know this thing has
Yes.
happened to you before. It happened
Yes.
exactly the same way,
Yes.
exactly the same pattern. And you're like, no, no. And you're like, okay, let me just give
Yes.
this person a chance, or let me just give it a chance. And he gives it a chance and he messes up, be
Yes.
like, you see, the
Yes.
trauma is here. And maybe at some point in life, you are not expecting the thing to go
Mm.
in a certain way, and it does not now go that certain way. You're like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened here? And that's like you hear some people tell you it is supposed to be like this. Just like when you tell somebody
It's 10.
5 plus 5
Yes.
is 10, right? And you tell them no, 9 plus 1 is 10. They'll tell you no.
Mm.
5 plus if you
Yeah.
tell
I see
five
what you're
plus
saying.
five,
Yeah.
it's nothing. And you're like,
Yeah.
at times
Yeah.
things change. And I've come to understand, I guess, we cannot leave this world without having one
Yeah.
kind of
Yes.
trauma or the other. Even despite you joining as a founder, I'm sure you have your own trauma that you be like, no, 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 no,
Yes.
no, 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 no. This thing I've seen it before. And maybe someday when the thing just happens, you be like, no, 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 it's
Yes.
supposed to be like this. Because
Yes.
it has happened.
Yes.
You get like I just feel at some point we should try. It's hard.
Yeah.
Even for me as an individual, it's hard. You get it has made
That
me
one. That one
I
I
don't really
agree.
I skip it. I don't talk.
But that is the result of being traumatized long enough, such
Mm-hmm.
that you learn to cope. So
Yeah.
you get coping
You learn
mechanisms,
to
right?
accept.
Like I don't. For me, I don't panic. I don't stress, right? I don't panic. I don't stress. Shit is going south. I will get my 8 hours of sleep, right? I will watch a series, and I will spend like an hour. I will get an
Really?
answer, and things will get fixed, right? So I don't panic and I don't stress because I've been through a lot of traumatizing experiences to know the drill. Like the drill is you just have to hold, like I don't know if you guys have seen, like just hold, hold, like you hold, so you don't panic, you don't create this massive.
Yes.
Just hold, and then you make a move, right? So right now I'm like 33, right? In 3 years, I've come to understand how my brain works. Brain is going to absorb this massive event. Shit went
Okay.
completely south. My brain is going to absorb. I have to do something unrelated to the chaos while my brain in the background is figuring out a way out. May take a day, a week, a month, a year, but my brain is going to come with an answer. I have learned to listen and know what the true answer is. So right now I'm like extremely highly functional, right? So
Mm.
I can predictably know the outcome, and I can hear my intuition extremely loud and clearly. I hear, like when people say, "Oh, hear your inner self." I know what my inner self is saying all the times. I have increased the
Okay.
accuracy of my moves. So, like, what? Like, your brain is an absolute, golden machine, right? And all you need to train your
Yeah.
brain is to come up with like auto-generate answers, like paths, like open paths, answers routes, and be right over like closer and closer and closer to being absolutely right over time, right?
Mm.
Such that you have fewer and fewer generated answers and they're all correct, right? So I have come to train myself to flow that way, right? So for me, it's a great experience. I have a great experience. Right now, I'm writing a book. It's called Never Stay Broke, right? In the book Never Stay Broke, I have applied. It's going to come
Mm.
out soon, right? Probably next month. In that book, Never Stay Broke, I just
That's
wrote the entire
good.
book in the weekend of July 4th, right? This past weekend. Sat down, spent 18 hours a day, full actual hours just on the screen actually writing. But I knew I wanted to write a second book. I didn't know the topic, I didn't know what it's going to be about, I didn't know that. And I let my brain figure all that stuff out for 2 years without me knowing what the brain is doing. And
Yeah.
that one random day, I just woke up and I knew what to write and I just wrote and finished, right? So, my point here is even in instances to that level you're talking about, Alex, of being calm, accepting, and flow, comes after you've experienced enough trauma and you're not afraid of trauma. Trauma is not something you have to heal from per se. Like trauma is just part of your build, and you know how to flow. It's like you're a ship, you're in the battle, you got bombed, you have holes, but the ship is still sailing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And you're going to get to your destination.
Yeah.
For me, that's the thing. That's the thing. And the what bomb is one thing, but the other thing is like, well, who said that experience, as your example, 5 plus 5? Who said that traumatizing experience was a bad experience? You only registered it as bad. Like who said I? Who told me I was supposed to go to university after high school? It's the world that said, oh well, after high school immediately you're supposed to go to university. But no, that's not true. You can go to high school. You can go to university 5 years after high school. You can go to university 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. Doesn't matter, right? So we register. We get traumatized, as Alex was saying about 5 plus 5 equals 10, and 9 plus 1 also equals 10. We get traumatized by imposing either from our parents, world, culture, religion, blah, blah, blah. All these things impose what right
Yeah.
looks like, and then when that doesn't happen, we're like, oh, we're
Yeah.
failed, we're ashamed, we're da da, we're da da da, we're all these things, right? But if we had to let go, but my thing is, you can't reach that level of knowledge if you haven't been traumatized to begin with. Like a kid, unless the parents are super geniuses in raising, they're like very, very different. Kids are born
So
free of all these rules, but because they're living in society,
all
they're
these
going to
things, yeah.
adapt societal rules, right? And then societal expectation, and then the feeling of shame and failure and all of that stuff. So it's almost impossible to say a 6-year-old who is free, who's a free thinker, is going to retain that level of freedom at 18. So I think it's okay if you're 6 and you're a free thinker, imaginative, and all that. 18, you're completely traumatized, and 28, you're back to at least 50% or 75% of how you were at 6. Things are good, right? You know.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking. That's my thinking.
At some point, there should just be a solution, but and it's not possible. It's not
Okay, so
possible,
question
but
to you.
sometimes
Question to
it
you. You're rich, start having kids. Do you shield kids from experiencing friction in life as much as you humanly can, or do you just let?
would throw them inside the
What?
friction. I would throw them inside the friction. It's the most explicit because it's part of what
So
builds them.
now, so it can't be solved. So this answers your question of how there should be a solution. There's no solution. Like this, there's no problem. Just my view. There's no problem to solve. Like it's normal. You know what I'm saying? So Ayo, I was asking Alex. They say, oh, 5 years down the line, start having kids. Kids are born into wealth, things are well, they have everything they need. Are you going to do everything in your power as a parent to shield your kids from experiencing trauma as much as you can? For you, it's
For
no,
me,
right?
as far as I'm concerned, me, ah, I would throw them inside the trauma. So they know what's going on. They know that's life.
And that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I was saying in the beginning, which is like, uh, you, you don't want to shield. You want to say, well, I can give you access. You have like a great citizenship, da da da, nice life. Yes, you have things in the house. You can go to good schools and all. I'll actually provide the basis, right? I want to make friction like air
Yeah.
friction. I will make it, the least amount of, make the surface as smooth as humanly possible. But that doesn't mean you're not going to experience trauma because if the surface is smoother, I'm making an assumption, the vessel has to move even faster to
Mm-hmm.
gain the certain level of friction.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
now, if you're moving faster on a smooth surface, then you end up experiencing the same friction as someone moving slower on a heavy friction. I mean, I don't know if the physics is right, but as an analogy, right? So if the kids are born into everything, like this thing, we say, oh, people are born in royal family in the UK, they have a nice life. I watched the season, the series
Yeah.
called The Crown.
Brown.
Very nice, best series
Yes.
I've ever watched on all of
I
Netflix.
watched it too.
Those guys are in the same level of hell as someone in Guatemala.
Yes.
And someone will jump at me and say, how dare you compare someone who is living a very luxury life, they have a private jet, helicopters, and all that stuff, to someone who actually has experienced true poverty? I'm like, no. Because that person is born in a palace, that's like their baseline is that. So for them, they don't think they're rich. They don't see it as privilege. For them, it's normal. And then privilege to them is being free, being able
Yeah.
to go to clubs, being able to date anyone, being able to marry the person they love, and that.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're blocked from those things, they experience like absolute hell, right? So what you realize, like, regardless of where we are in society, everyone has their fair share of trauma, right?
Yeah. That's true.
I
Yeah.
just faced my own network trauma.
That's true.
You moved to your own network.
I just faced my own network trauma. The network kicks me out.
So what
Any,
so what are we saying as like a
I think in
conclusive like
conclusion, in my
generative?
opinion,
Yeah.
in conclusion. So I think first of all, let me just go back to trust issues because I missed some of the things you guys were talking about. Apart from like trust issues, I think there are bad traumas, in my opinion. It might teach you a lesson, which is good. It will teach you a lesson at the end of the day, but you will still have some form of trauma attached to it. And the lesson is now
Yeah.
you have to learn from that lesson. So you have a better experience. When I was growing up, when I was growing up, I think when I was in like maybe junior secondary school, that's junior high school, basically. I don't know what they call it
Yeah.
in America. I used
Yeah.
to have like this low self-esteem. Like
Yeah.
sometimes my mates will talk to me and like so it started building up that trauma in me. Then I will be
Yeah.
quiet sometimes. When I go home, I'm all chatty. Then when I go to boarding house back, and people can be bullies, like children
Yeah.
can be bullies. So they'll bully and bully. Then I come back until when I changed to an only girls' school. I started finding my voice. Then I started talking properly. Then when I got into uni, I had some friends that would just randomly tell me, "Oh my God, Ayo, you're so gullible. Why? Why am I gullible? I'm too
Yeah.
trusting. I'm too this. I'm too that." And
Mm.
Yeah.
now, because of all those experiences, everything is now inside my head. Like,
Yes.
don't do this, don't do that. You're
Yeah.
trying to.
Yeah.
And of course, coupled with few bad friendships, few bad relationships. Like everything is now in your head. It's now you don't want
Yes.
to
Yes.
experience this again. Like you're telling yourself,
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
Now that is where the bad
Yeah.
trauma comes in. Because now you either want to make new friends. There are times when I know I can be all talky, but there are some times where I go out and I'm very introverted. I will just sit down quietly, like I won't say anything. Like, of course, there are scenarios that require that. But when you are supposed to be in a social gathering, I used to enjoy going to like tech events, but now I find it hard to stand up and talk to people, except I'm invited to
Yeah.
speak. You understand? Like
Yes.
I
Yes.
find it hard to
Yes.
actually say, "Oh, hi, my name is Ayo." I used to do it before, but I like now
Yeah.
it's something in my head will say, "You are doing too much. Go and sit down. Go and do that one." That is bad trauma. That is
Yeah.
bad
That's
trauma.
true.
But
That's true. No,
but
that's true.
sometimes
That's
you have to push
yeah.
yourself and say, "Okay, I want to do this." So what do? I go with a friend that I know that can meet anybody. Be like, we are going for these
Yeah.
events together. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, let's get the VIP tickets. Let's be able to speak with founders. Let's go and do this.
Yeah.
Let's go and do that." And
Yes.
I'm going with them, and they're like,
Yes.
"Ah, have you met Ayo? Have you met this person?"
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
conversations
Yes.
can come. And sometimes when I see people
Yes.
that know me online, like they see me physically and they want to talk to me, I'll be so shy. I don't know what to say. And
Yeah.
this has kind
Yeah.
of also affected. I used to run like maybe social media classes for like upcoming people in the university, all of
Yeah.
that. I can't
Yes.
even run a class right now. Like I thought about
Yeah.
it, like
Yeah.
I think I should run a class. I've not had a class in 2 years. So now I and it stems from bad trauma. Now I'm trying to come out of that shell. I'm trying to say, okay, I don't think I should sit down and seclude myself. I have a friend that is always
Yeah.
shouting, "And you go out, and you go out. You're just going to the cinema. Where else are you going to? And you go out, talk to people." So
Yeah.
I'm trying my best. I'm doing all of that. I want to meet people, which is another reason why
Yeah.
I want to like leave Nigeria. So all this trauma, that it's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad trauma. To be honest, it's bad trauma. Now
Yeah.
you now have to sit down and talk to yourself and say, why are you scared? Why can't you do
Yeah.
this? Why can't you talk to people? You like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just my
Yeah.
own like
And I
opinion
think
from.
I think and that's 100% true, and that's fine. That's okay. It's part of growth,
Yeah,
and we just need to do a lot of introspection. Like something that has worked for me is look at myself. Like I do that all. First of all, I have too much solitude. I have time for myself with myself
yeah,
alone, just thinking, imagining, just letting the brain just wander. And one of the things I do is look at myself, map my childhood, my my life, my motivations. Because maybe you don't know your motivations when the thing is happening, or your fears, or like
yeah,
what's crippling you. But then when you do a reflection, then you map it, you look at it, and then you wonder, well, is it good? Is it a strength? Is it a weakness? Maybe it's both. At which point is it a weakness? At which point is it a strength? Right. So, for instance,
mm,
for me, right, I'm a second born, right, and when I was a kid, my dad always preferred my older brother because my older brother was extremely smart, like had photographic memory and all that. So for me, I had to get my mom's attention. Right, my mom had all of us. Like my mom was like equally attentive to all of us. But
yeah,
somehow I feared that because my dad likes my brother too much, I need to be on my mom's camp. So I need to
mm,
be a good kid so that at least I get one parent, right?
mm,
So what ended up doing, like my parents saw it as normal behavior, but to me, when I was mapping myself, I remember that was the conscious move, which is I always woke up early, I always made my bed, I always followed orders, I was never mischievous, I was always like because I wanted my mom's approval, right?
mm,
And I did. And then I was in competition,
I see the
and
reason why
like
you
for me,
talk
I
about
know,
it.
and I
Like,
know I thought about it because I remember, right? I was in competition with my brother, and my brother didn't know I was in competition with him, right? I was like, so my brother is the firstborn and has the whatever, and you know the beef when the beef started, my dad would buy things and would let my brother choose first because he's older.
Mm,
yesterday, the whole network is against each and every
I
one of us.
promise you, it's so bad.
I don't know why we
It's
got
just kicking
completely
everybody out. Or maybe it's the
disconnected.
app. Maybe the app also has its own
Where's
factors.
is this starting from scratch?
Yeah, you can go on,
I'm
Joseph.
seeing it's starting from scratch.
I'm not sure it's in yet. Is it in?
Was it timed to an hour net? I think IO has
I
to
don't
use
think it's
8
in.
if the video is timed to 1 hour net. Because I'm looking at the timer, it has started from scratch, right?
But let's use this time to just ask questions, like so that we can get people
No,
to
if you
answer
just
Okay.
match it up
and see
at
if
the
they're
end of the
actually
day.
listening to this episode because this episode
Um,
is so interesting.
let me see.
Do
Do we
you
know
think
where I?
So you're talking about you
let's
being
look
in
at
competition with
generations
your
So
now.
brother.
to
So
me,
do you think the
right?
younger generation
So this is
they
where the thing
have it
starts. So my
easier
dad
than
would buy
our own
gifts,
generation? Alex, are you
right?
there?
And we would pick. We would pick. Like he would get my brother to pick the gift first, right? Now there's this specific
Yeah,
instance, and for me, I would record all of that stuff. Now there's and because he's older. Then there's this specific instance that happened.
yeah,
My dad brought in two sweaters, right? One sweater was green and with like, other, stripes, da da da. And the other sweater was gray with stripes of, the green one had stripes of red and white, right? And the gray sweater had, stripes of black and yellow, black and orange. I picked the green sweater first, and my brother wasn't even there. I picked the green sweater. Then my brother came, picked the green sweater, and my dad gave it to him and gave me the gray sweater. And that moment, well, I was like 5 years old. I remember absolutely vividly. I was like 5 or 6. That day, I marked my brother. I'm like, I'm coming for you. And what I was coming for was power. And people think kids are dumb. That was power. I'm like, I'm going to command power with our siblings and everyone in the house. How am I going to command power? I'm not going to get power from my dad. I'm going to command it by who is in the house all the time. It's my mom, right? So all I have to do is be on my mom's side, to be like a good kid. I do all the chores, I do da da da, I do everything perfect, so my mom depends on me. I become dependable, right? When I become dependable, all our younger siblings, who is going to
yeah.
have responsibilities of watching over the younger siblings, making sure that their food is cool, feeding them. When mom makes food, and then you go feed the babies. Who's going to have those responsibilities? Me. So I quietly started
Mm-hmm.
accumulating power, right? Now my older brother was mischievous in there, so he didn't care, he didn't know what was going on. So for me, I was accumulating power just because of the sweater, right? Just because of the time, blah blah, life went on. Of course, I got power, right? I became the actual leader of the house, second after my mom, right? Because my parents separated. So when my parents separated, so my mom was now running the house. So now, guess who? You picked the wrong team. So now I'm with the winning team. So now, I'm second in command and all that. So was that, was that like a strange experience that like a kid went through, and that rewired a kid in a weird way to want to overcompensate by good behavior and whatever, so that you can get attention of a parent, or like, trust of a parent, and eventually get what you want. Yes, that's true. Was that the behavior? When I realized that was my behavior, did I keep it? Yes, I kept it through school. I was the most obedient kid in school and number one in class all the time. Why? Because I want the teacher's approval. When I went to work, I was always over delivering more than anyone else in the office. Why? I want my boss's approval. So I kept that behavior forever. And right now, I'm running a business. I have customers. Am I not over delivering to customers? I over deliver to customers all the time. Why? I want my customers' approval. So now I reflect on my, guilt behavior because of that experience. And I look at it, I'm like, well, it has weaknesses and strengths, right? It's like good and bad at the same time. So bad is like, well, you're trying to please, like you're trying to earn people's, trust and whatever, right? Two is that, well, if you have customers, you
Yeah,
better earn their trust. You better over deliver. You better make sure they're happy all the time, right? So it's like, there are
that's
cases where
true.
it's
Yeah,
useful, and then there are cases where you're not supposed to apply that. So I think both
no,
can work. So even
you're
in
right.
Ayo's
You're right.
experience, when you're doing a lot of introspection and da, 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 you look at your behavior, you analyze it, you understand your trauma, you understand why it was useful at a certain time in your life, and then now useful or not, or both, and then which cases is it useful in, which cases is it not, and then you move forward from there. But anyway, that's those are interesting things to think about. So now having kids, I'm like, well, good luck to all of us.
I think we
Raising
should
kids.
end this episode because the internet is
Are you muted?
it's part of our
This has
struggles,
really been.
The sound.
our
You lost
trauma.
your mic or something.
Yeah, I lost my mic.
Yeah, I think having issues with that mic.
Yeah, you lost your mic. But anyway, so that was a good discussion. I think we took away a lot of things there across different areas and aspects of personal life and whatever, and like
Yeah.
macro stuff.
To the community out
Yes.
there, please, to the community out there, please, if you know you have lots of traumas or little thing triggers you, please go and visit a therapist. Please, let them help you.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Plus one on that.
The truth, go to your therapist, let them help
Yeah,
you.
100%, 100%. All right, guys. This was great. This was great. I don't know if I want to close. We're not supposed to close the app, right?
Yeah, I'll close it.
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
upload. Yeah. Have a good day,
All
guys.
right.
See you on the
Cheers.
next
Cheers.
one.
Bye bye.